hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Feline with the claws in my heart. Sorry. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Paranormal Portal's Wednesday edition of our show. And I hope you guys are doing wonderful and great. And I hope you're enjoying everything you're seeing so far, which is just me. What's not to love? But welcome, guys. This is our Wednesday edition. And, of course, I'm not alone here. Let me welcome and introduce my really good friend and co-host, Mr. Longbeard.
Guten Krampus Nacht. Oh, thanks.
Try again.
Blew it.
Try again. Sorry.
So many buttons, I don't know what to do.
Guten Krampus Nacht.
Guten Krampus Nacht.
And happy hump day.
Yeah, Hump Day's Eve, ladies and gentlemen. You've made it. You've made it through the tough part, I hope. I hope it's been a good week up to this point, and thank you to all of you who have been joining me on the bedtime stories every night
He likes
here
telling
as well.
them.
I love telling them. I do.
He likes the idea of being in bed with you.
I like that we're all
We're
snuggling.
just kind of cuddly. That's what you do with family.
It is. It is. Group hug. Come on. Come on. Bring it in. Let's go.
Bring it in.
But a lot of you guys here coming in the door, and great to see you all. We love you very much, and it's huge, huge, huge for us to, turn on the stream and just see it. Hey, Matthew just came in. I was typing hellos to everybody, but you guys were coming in faster and faster. Really, really. Haxer,
awesome.
Jesse, Nelly, MCAT,
Claire.
Gemini,
Really,
Claire's in here. I said really, really.
Dana.
Dana, Sarah, Jessica.
Yep.
MCAT, I said before. Dana again. I'm just going through the
They're
list.
just going so fast. Hi.
It's all you guys. What is this? What is this? Miss Nahualita. I like that name. Ms. Nahualita. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Hello.
Oh, boy.
Welcome to the show. It's great to meet you. I don't remember meeting you before, but have I missed anybody? I'm just.
Jim just popped in.
Jim.
Silex.
Excellent. Silex.
Diana.
MCAT again.
Matthew learned, yeah.
Matthew, yeah. Matthew was the first one I noticed since I looked back at the screen. But, Ken, you're not here.
Ken's
You're not just here, Ken. You are here.
Oh, you know what?
You are part of us.
We owe Claire a happy birthday from last week.
Ooh, happy birthday to you. Wow. Welcome. And happy birthday. I hope you had a wonderful birthday. I'm sorry if I didn't send you a message. I try to get reminders from Facebook for all of that so I can be as gracious as you all deserve. I try to send out messages whenever I see them. But if I didn't send you a message, Claire, I hope you had a great time, a great birthday. You've been an amazing friend for a long time. So thank you, and thank you for being here with us. And again, happy birthday. Hope it was a great day. A lot going on in your neck of the woods. So I'm here to tell you what's going on with that whole Brexit thing, huh?
Wow, yeah, no doubt.
That is just a mess.
Wow, there's a can of worms, too.
That is a can. Wow. But anyway, I know that's not the theme or purpose of the Paranormal Portal, but it is something I've been keeping up with. And oh my God.
And
with France and the situation in the UK and then our situation here. It's like, oh my God, things are changing, people. Woof. it's an exciting time to be alive. Hopefully, it all works out to be exciting.
Hopefully it'll be an exciting time to stay alive.
Yeah, well, it's hard to know how all of this is going to tip, but it looks like, in just the big picture, it looks like people are reclaiming
Yeah.
their sovereignty, their pride, their purpose, and so many people are becoming so active and in just trying to raise the consciousness. So I hope you guys are noticing. I have to give a special thank you to Mr. Gio. Chris and I worked this today, and the screens you're seeing, these are built on Nick's what's his last name again? I always have trouble with his last name. Zervos. Yeah. Nick Zervos designed these screens initially, and Chris came up with a way to redesign it and put in code so we get the chat on screen now, ladies and gentlemen. So it's on the actual video itself, which is nice because unfortunately one of the things that really hamstrung us was that if I made any edits at all to the videos after the fact, I would lose this live chat, and it's such an important part of the show to me, that you guys are here taking part and being a part of the conversation. That even as silly as some of the mistakes have been, I couldn't bring myself to edit them out because I would lose you guys as part of the show.
Right.
You guys are definitely part of the show, and I wanted to preserve that. And so now you're on screen, and so your chats will be preserved, at least most of them. I realize it's a small window, but it's working really great. But thank you, Chris, for all your help. You make us look amazing. You've done so much for the show, and I'm absolutely humbled by your kindness and your friendship, and you directing the ship and
yeah, no doubt.
I mean, a lot of the way we look is due to him. So
yeah, he put the big boat in the water. We're just the dinghy beside him.
We just got a couple paddles. Yeah. We're just paddling.
Well, sometimes we don't even have a paddle.
We're back there just treading water. We're doing our best, but yeah, he's making us look good. So thank you, brother. It looks beautiful. It seems to be working beautiful as well. So I can see it both on my OBS and on my YouTube page that's open. So it's really, really cool. So, but tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Don's going to lead us off with some information regarding Krampus Nacht, and he can explain all of this right now.
Well, as soon as I get this open. But, so tonight, December 5th, is Krampus Nacht. It's the night of the Krampus, which is the night before the feast of St. Nicholas in many, many countries. So, something that, I lost it. Something that people have forgotten about is the Krampus. And not only the Krampus, but there's a few others, there's Black Peter. There's the Yule Cat, which is an Icelandic thing. So we'll get into some of those maybe in a bit. But anyhow, let me get back to my Krampus story here. Now, we have a friend. Her name is Danielle, and she kind of does some researching for us. She's
amazing.
She just finds these things, and so she sends them to us, and so that's how I found the one. Let's see, I read one a week ago about the Stick Indians. That's right.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, and that was from one of these aminos as well. So, this really, really did not come out how I wanted it to. But she's just been awesome in finding stories for us, and of course, she's a contributor to the portal page as well. So, thank you very much. Thank you. I've got to change there. That's better. Now zoom in a little bit. Oh my. Okay, so it didn't. Gosh, I love this. Okay, so well, it's I copy and pasted it, but it pasted all into block writing. It's like, where's the end of the paragraph?
Oh yeah, I love that.
So Krampus Day. It's Krampus Day, December 5th, the night of the Krampus. Now. We'll get into this, but of course, as I said, it's the night before the feast of St. Nicholas, and of course, that's actually the night in a lot of places where you put your shoes out on the doorstep, or something to that effect. And in the morning, if you found a lump of coal, the Krampus came by. Ooh. Or if you find toys and sweets and snacks and things like that, then St. Nick said you've been a good boy or girl. or whatever that particular PC word is. So let's get into this. So the following was inspired by Matt Aron and written by Rhea, a contributor and moderator for the Over 30 Pagans Amino. So thank you very much for writing this, and Danielle, thank you very much for reaching out to her and getting permission to read this and present it on the show. Let's do this. It starts out, it's Krampus Day. Let's delve into some more history. Deriving his name from the word Krampen, meaning claw, the Krampus is described as a half-goat, half-demon, a satyr-like spirit who travels with St. Nicholas and divines whether children have been naughty or nice. If naughty, one would be lucky to merely receive a beating from the Krampus with his birch twigs or have one's pigtails ripped out. In worst case scenarios, he would lead children off a cliff in Pied Piper fashion, throw them in the frozen lakes, drown them in his bathtub. Here's a good one. Stab and eat them with a pitchfork. Or capture them in a sack to be carried off directly to the underworld. The Krampus is believed to be the remnant of a pre-Christian Alpine tradition of heathenry and paganism, originating in Austria, Germany, and the Czech Republic. However, there's very little hard evidence left that we can trace to prove this notion. Despite this, Maurice Bruce told in the Journal of Folklore 1958, there seems to be little doubt as to the true identity for, in no other form is the full regalia of the horned god of the witches so well preserved. The birch may have a connection with the initiation rites with certain witch covens, rites which entail binding and scourging as a mock form of death. The chains could have been introduced in a Christian attempt to bind the devil, but again, they could be a remnant of a pagan tradition of initiation rites. Some believe that the Krampus was originally a spirit of purification and warding, as scourging is usually seen as a ritual act of purification. He's also related to other traditions associated with this time of year, such as the Perchen. The Perchen were the entourage of the spirit Frau Perchata, I'm going to murder that one, Perchta, a goddess sometimes associated with Holda and Frigga. Jacob Grimm, a collector of folk tales and the editor of the famous Grimm's Fairy Tales, stated that Frau Percha, as the guardian beast, was responsible for the Krampus. The Percha were divided into two groups. Oh, I'm going to kill this. The Schoensprechen, who were beautiful and kind spirits, and the Scheinperchen, the ugly and wild spirits of her retinue. The Speierprechen were depicted as hairy and horned satyr monsters, and much like the Krampus, they went door to door to drive away evil spirits, ghosts, and demons. We see a similar tradition with Krampus on December 5th, known as Krampus Nacht, or Krampus Night. Young men donned masks, goat horns, and animal fur costumes to represent the Krampus and traveled door to door demanding libations of alcohol, customarily schnapps. As these men became drunker and drunker, perhaps possessed by the spirit of the Krampus they were emulating, they began accusing people that they met of misdeeds and sins and threatened to beat them as punishment. Here we even see a hint of the archetype of Satan as the divine accuser, contrasted by St. Nicholas as a holy benefactor. This drunken procession, called Krampusloft, meaning the Krampus Run, would soon turn into chaos and riots, and then men dressed as Krampus would turn from chasing children to chasing women as they grew more increasingly intoxicated. We see reoccurring themes here which echo those of the Yule goat, a similar spirit who was once the focus of fertility rites during the winter. The Yule goat, believed to be a Proto-Indian European origin, would have women sit upon his lap during the procession from house to house. This may even be the origin of sitting on Santa's lap. I'm going to skip that part. I'm sorry. Edit for, family stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The tradition of Krampuskargen, the Krampus cards, comparable to greeting cards, exchange for Christmas or Yule, evolved from illustrating the Krampus abducting or punishing children and pursuing women. The Krampus is persistent spirit who can't seem to be erased by either religion or government. He was denounced by the church and by the fascist rule in Austria in 1934 and 1938. He's been called the symbol of anti-Christianity, sinfulness, wickedness, and even social democracy. The Krampus has been repeatedly boycotted and denounced by child psychologists since 1953 for being psychologically scarring. Despite all attempts to suppress the winter spirit, he remains more popular than ever right now, making an appearance in pop culture through media, movies, books, and television shows. Sometimes you just can't keep a wild demon bound. Even when shown in chains and restraint, a motif that should be noted that was added by his depiction by the church, the Krampus continued to roam wild and free. So there's a good foundation of understanding the Krampus. And as I've read also like on Krampus Nacht, like I said, you put your boots out, on the doorstep or whatnot. That's probably where the tradition of the stalking by the fireplace came from, because supposedly in our view from the U.S. and the Western cultures, if you were naughty, Santa would leave coal in your stocking. Or you would be gifted with presents and sweets and things like that from St. Nicholas, because until just the late 19th century or the late 20th century, starting in the late 19th century through the 20th century, building steam, now we see Krampus everywhere, or we're starting to really see them everywhere.
I didn't even know about it until about a year ago, to be honest with you.
Wow.
I'd never, ever heard of this.
And that goes with the suppression, the governmental suppression, because they don't, or maybe even church suppression. I'm spitballing, speculating, but as it was stated, 1934 and 1938, they were, it was bound, it was illegal to talk about them in the Germanic countries, things like that. So anyhow, you put your boots out or your shoes out, on the doorstep, and in the morning you wake up, you find either coal, which means that the Krampus were there and you were naughty, or as I said, you find the sweets. So that's probably where the stalking by the fireplace comes from. Now, also though, I guess during Krampus Nacht, when people dress up as Krampus, the parents in some countries would actually open the door, let the Krampus come in, and like literally terrorize the children with. And another thing that's associated with Krampus is also the sack and the birch switch. So a couple things. If you were naughty, you possibly not only just get coal if you were lucky. If you were really unlucky and really naughty, you'd be thrashed with a birch switch.
Wow.
And if you were really bad, they'd throw the brat in a sack and drag you to hell, basically. And in some stories I've read, you would be there for a year until the next year, and then you have another year to prove that you can be good.
Do you know, as a side note, do you know that this just occurred to me? It's just useless trivia knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. But
We're full of it.
You know where the term rule of thumb came from?
Go ahead.
It was the rules or the laws of the land said you could use a switch on your kid, but it couldn't be any bigger than the circumference of your thumb. If it was, it would be considered excessive and illegal.
Then it would be illegal. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But that was, as I understand it, where rule of thumb came from.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I can't beat you with this one. Sorry.
Well, and it wasn't just children either. If you found your wife doing something, that you didn't
sure,
agree with,
yeah.
And that's, a lot of it too. But, but there's a lot of traditions, specifically we're getting back to the Krampus night and things like that, that really have, not just, Saint Nick or Kris Kringle or Santa Claus, as we call him, he has an opposite. Everybody has to have a balance.
Right.
And that's pretty much what this is saying is, because Saint Nick was benevolent, but these other guys not so much.
Well, in Indonesia, the culture, the custom for Saint Nicholas or for Santa Claus is there's a Santa guy, but instead of having elves, he's followed around by all these imps, and so people dress up as the imps, and they're these literally. They put on this black makeup with white eyes, and they run around and terrify kids. So it's really a similar play on that. Not similar in that if you were bad, these little imps would take you and drag you away.
Right.
And so it's just basically a lot of horrible parenting.
Right. Well, and actually, there's been a resurgence of something like that, and I don't know if anybody's put this together yet, but there's this thing called an elf on a shelf.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what it is if the elf moved, he probably was going to go talk to Santa.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Is that the whole lore behind that stupid thing?
And if and he may not come back if you were really naughty. It's another control method. It's you've got to there's a certain amount of discipline a child needs. I don't believe they need to be beat or anything like that. But,
right. No,
there's a certain amount of, right and wrong you have to instill in them. But instilling fear in them is something totally different.
Right.
There's a corner for naughty kids. There's go to your room.
Right.
There's
natural,
a million things.
Natural consequences.
Right.
Like if you're doing this, you lose this that's related to this, but I'm going to beat you stupid is not good.
Or drag you to hell in a sack, you little brat.
Well, and that's the thing, and it's a common theme in some of the fear-based religions. Be good or this,
or else. Yeah.
So it's like in some ways it's a adult version or carryover. Like you either live this way as we tell you to, or this.
Right.
And it's like, when people are gambling with the eternity of their soul, okay, I can do this,
Yeah.
But you're living in a construct, or you're living in a
construct of fear. You're living in that your perpetual. I'm being watched.
Right. Now, who was it? Somebody in the chat asked, and I didn't know of any references to this, but let me get back to it and see if I can figure out what they asked. They said, does Krampus have any? And this is from Heart of the Rebel 666. Okay. Said, does Krampus have any connection to Bacchus or Baphomet? And I said none that I know of, but I think that in a lot of ways, a lot of cultures and of course traditional Christianity, I think, really took a lot of pagan symbolism and made it evil, and therefore you have the goat-headed, satanic figure and stuff. And it was basically to take, my child is so loud today. Why does he, he
He's
only
having
gets
fun.
He gets just this loud whenever we're broadcasting.
It's because you're not out there paying attention to him, and that's okay.
Well, it may be, but it's just like, is now the best time to howl?
Well, of course not. But it's the best time for him to have fun.
This is like the perfect time to make lots of noise.
But I would say no, and this is why I would say no, because we've taken all these traditions, or these traditions have been taken, and they've been conglomerated into this or that. And so in the Christian realm of the earth, the Western Christian, ideals, everything is a demon or a devil that's not God. Or,
very true. And
so yeah, in that sense, yes, but in the true sense, no, because
when did this Krampus thing start?
Oh gosh, it's Germanic legends from aeons ago.
So it's pre-Christianity?
Yeah, it's definitely pre-Christianity. It's paganism. It's pagan belief system. It's and forgive me, anybody who's listening who identifies as a pagan or even a Christian for that matter. This is just my thoughts.
Right.
And one's not right, one's not wrong. It's just these are my thoughts right now, right here. But it's pre-Christian. It's very, very rooted in pagan ritual or pagan belief, but here's the thing, what was before, what came before the Christian ideals?
Sure.
In every religion or every spiritual belief system, there's a good and a bad. There's got to be that contrast. There's got to be that duality. Sure. Because it's how we identify with the people that we identify with. We don't like that person. Well, that person must be, bad. Oh, I like that person. That person must be good.
Right.
I love that person. That's family.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that person. That's enemy. So you have to have that balance. We are just natural. I believe we're just naturally programmed to have that duality, because otherwise we wouldn't have anything to compare ourselves to. And just as a side note, in the Bible, it says that God is a jealous God. There shall be nobody above me.
Mm-hmm.
What is he comparing himself to?
Well, yeah. Well, I've thought about that a lot too. But the thing is that even in a biblical sense, there's not there's never a claim that there
is only one God.
Right.
It's just he is the highest.
There is no other gods
above me. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So,
but a lot of, as far as I understand, a lot of Christian beliefs believe that there are no others.
Well, yeah, and I think that maybe that's their way of removing that existence is by
removing the duality of nature.
Right. Well, but they have the Satan.
Well, true enough.
And that's the polar opposite to all the good that is God. Then there's the Satan that is all that is not good.
Everybody. So, but yeah, you're right. You're right.
But no, I think that these legends and lores are absolutely intriguing and interesting, and it's funny how they still survive even still.
Right.
Right. This lore hasn't just died and faded into obscurity. But somebody else said that they only heard of the Krampus like 5 years ago. So, it's not a really. Well, I think it is now really well known because
it's becoming pop culture. It's
right.
It's counterculture.
Sure, and that's probably it. That's a good way of stating it is that a lot of these things are coming back, and including ancient knowledges and ancient practices, because perhaps that's people trying to get in touch with their truth, because they know that a lot of these canned ideas and both society and of our individual expectations in a society and et cetera, they don't fit anymore. So people are exploring, they're researching, they're looking for their truth, and I think that that's really cool and powerful. It can also be, I suppose, a little risky because there are things in the ancient past that probably should stay in the ancient past.
Don't mess with those.
Right.
There was another thing, something about Loki's daughter Hel, that the Krampus are. Gosh, I wish I could remember. So according to the Norse tree, that's what it is. Some believe that the Krampus are the result of offspring of Hel, who is, of course, the half-dead daughter of Loki from Norse tradition. So that's how far back, at least that far back, that it goes. So definitely Nordic, Viking, that belief system, so
sure.
That predates Christianity, of course. But then again, Slovakia, Slovenia, Croatia, they all have their versions of Krampus too.
They do, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not just Germany, it's not just Austria, it's those Eastern Bloc countries. So and it's well rooted. It's well rooted.
Okay, gotcha. I'm going to start up the ghost thing too. I forgot to do that.
Yeah, especially tonight. I love that thing.
That is pretty cool.
I wish it would.
It actually said it actually
what?
There was. It didn't say anything last night. I left it on long after the show, after I did the bedtime stories, and then I forgot about it. And I came back when I was shutting everything down, and apparently something finally visited, because I had a history of something being here, if it works at all. And again, the jury's still out, but I thought that was pretty interesting, because it hasn't done anything
in a long time
in this new location.
Right.
So upstairs it was much more active, and there was much more going on. But apparently they haven't found us down here yet.
we left them upstairs in the attic where they belong.
Yeah. Left them up there in my bedroom.
So yeah, it's just really I just absolutely love the story of Krampus and the duality of Saint Nick and Krampus and I think it's just but the whole fear factor is kind of I mean the whole fear factor. I mean, if you're going to rule by fear in your everyday life, then why not offer him that one extra special wicked thing once a year?
Right.
It's like, yeah, that's too much. But I have a tendency to believe that it could very well possibly be true, and it would be kind of interesting. It'd be kind of cool in a manner of speaking. Can I have the lighter, please?
Yeah, you need.
Yeah,
some
I
light.
need that light again.
Yeah, people have been saying they can't hardly see you.
Yeah, I know. I kind of like it that way.
There you
Kinda
go.
like
Just
it
hold
like
that. Just light your beard up and let it. See if you can rub it with some oil and make it slow burn for about 2 hours.
I'm not a 100-hour candle, thank you. No, as a matter of fact, I got to move it over there just so it doesn't. This would be like the highlight reel of the episode. Don burns his beard off.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that smell?
Well, it'd be hard to top that. So far the beans is about on the top of the list of Donisms, but maybe you can beat your own record.
You never know. I've got plenty of time.
Right.
Not just tonight, but many, many, many nights to come.
Absolutely. Well, I hope the portal keeps burning for a long time
Right.
to come. But very cool. Thanks for sharing all that. I thought that was
Yeah.
really cool. I love learning about those kind of things. I'm not one to probably dig into legends too much myself because I'm more, and it's probably my own failing because I think you learn a lot looking into legends, and you learn a lot about what could be going on in the present time by looking at legends and what people believed in their stories and stuff.
Well, they always say, history comes back, and legends and lore come back. It's a circle of life. I mean, let's think about it. I mean,
Sure.
corduroys come back. Bell bottoms have come back.
I thought it just kind of had a near miss with both of those. Like, oh, it's coming back.
No,
Ah,
as a matter of fact,
everybody hide.
Do you remember Janko jeans? I sure do.
I don't know.
Well, they relaunched 10 or 15 years later.
Wow.
Janko jeans are back.
We.
But
I was a '70s corduroy boy, and
I wore corduroy.
I wore the hell out of
fat coats.
corduroy,
I love corduroy.
but it's I don't think it's a look for today. But that's just me.
Oh, just Pixie. I know what you deleted. I read it. I saw that.
She pulling a Hagrid in there again. I should not have
I
said
should
that.
not have said that.
We missed you, Pixie. Glad you're back in the saddle, and good to see you again. It's never the same without you. So glad you're home.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've noticed. I've even noticed you've been missing, but it's okay. Even a Pixie has to take a day off.
Well, they can only do their magic so much in a row
Before they need their beauty sleep.
Yeah, that's right.
rest their hoarse voice, as she calls it. So awesome. But so I've got a couple other things. But do you have something? Okay. You want me to keep going?
I don't really have anything pressing.
Okay, so no, I don't want that one. So I'm going to talk about some other legendary Christmas monsters, and some of them I did take some German, like 4,000 years ago, and I still murdered those names. Well, the next one's Icelandic, and there's no darn way I can say it.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you because I've tried to read stories out of the Iceland areas, and whenever they have a local name, it's just like
yeah, I can't even.
it might as well be falling down the stairs for the sounds I'm making. Like
so I'm going to skip the name. I'll spell.
No offense to Icelandic people. I'm not casting aspersions at all. It's just
they actually say that the Icelandic language is the hardest to learn and to grasp. They say it's absolutely the hardest.
Yep. I got Bjork, and that's about all.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is about the Yolcat, the Icelandic Yolcat. And I'm going to spell it just so I can spell it. It's Jolak O with umlauts, Tturinn. Yolkotteren.
Yeah, just stop. Just stop there.
Yeah, right there. Is the Icelandic Yule cat or the Christmas cat.
Oh.
He is not a nice cat.
Oh, no.
In fact, he might eat you.
Really?
This character is tied to an Icelandic tradition in which those who finish all of their work on time receive new clothes for Christmas, while those who are lazy and did not, although this is mainly a threat, to encourage children to work hard, parents told tales of the Yule Cat, saying that the Yule Cat could tell who lazy children were because they did not have at least one new item of clothing for Christmas. These children would be sacrificed to the Yule Cat.
Jeez.
That's the threat, of course.
Right. Still a sweet thought.
Yeah, exactly. This reminder tends to spur children into doing their chores. A poem written about the cat ends with the suggestion that children help out the needy, so they too can have protection of new clothing. It's no wonder Icelanders put in more overtime at work than any other European. Well, that's kind of an opinion, but I wouldn't doubt it. Now, I also wanted to, real quick, thank one more time.
Whoa, what happened?
Uh-oh, what?
It says stream offline.
Don't say that.
I know, right?
Don't say that.
But it's saying that, even though I got a green light here.
I'm seeing us here.
Okay,
I
hold
am
on.
a few seconds behind, but now
Okay,
I'm not.
stream resumed. I don't know what the hell just happened.
So, real quick, I wanted to give another shout out to Matt Aron. I hope I'm saying that right. And the writer of that history, Rhea, the contributor and moderator for Over 30 Pagans and Me Now. Thank you very much for allowing me to read it. I hope I did it justice. I don't read very well, obviously,
No,
but I do appreciate you giving us permission to use that. So thank you very much. But to get back to the Yule Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also, I've read that the Yule Cat sometimes eats you, but sometimes it'll just cut you open and pull your entrails out.
Oh, nice. Draw and quarter you.
No, not drawn and quartered, just disemboweled.
Disemboweled. Okay.
Wow, so I mean that's another one. It's like be good or you're gonna get disemboweled by the giant Yule Cat
Or eaten.
or eaten. Yeah, I mean, worse yet. Well, the Krampus stick you with a pitchfork and eat you too.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh yeah, I read. Yeah, it was in that.
You probably
story.
said it. Yeah,
I said it. Oh,
I was just multitasking. Yeah, I'm multitasking all the time.
Okay. So. Oh wow, that's a nasty picture.
Where?
Right here. In this story. These Frau Perchta. Now this is the one that was referenced in that writing I read. Tales told in Germany and Austria sometimes feature a witch named Frau Percha. I'm murdering it, who hands out both rewards and punishments during the 12 days of Christmas, which is December 25th through Epiphany on January 6th. She is best known for her gruesome punishment of the sinful. She'll rip out your internal organs and replace them with garbage.
Oh, jeez.
The ugly image of Percha may show up in Christmas processions in Austria, somewhat like the Krampus. Her story is thought to have descended from the legendary alpine goddess of nature who tends the forest most of the year and deals with humans only during Christmas. In modern celebrations, she or a close relation may show up in a procession during a Fastnacht, which is the alpine festival just before Lent. There may be some connection between Frau Percha and the Italian witch La Befana. But La Befana isn't really a monster. She is an ugly but good witch who leaves presents.
Oh, nice.
Wow, yeah.
Where's that one out of?
That is Italian.
Italian.
That's Italian.
Oh, they got it right.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah.
She
Oh
ain't
my
much,
gosh, she's ugly, but she's so nice.
she ain't much to look at, but she's always bringing presents.
Oh my God. I got a sweet tooth for her.
Wow, I bet you do. Okay.
Oh, no. You're so horrible. Are you fishing for me tonight? Is that what it is?
Yeah, we're trolling.
And then there's Bell's Nickel. Nickel, Bels, Belsnickel, is a male character from southwestern German lore who travels to the United States and survives in Pennsylvania Dutch customs. He comes to children sometimes before Christmas wearing tattered old clothing and raggedy fur. Belsnickel carries a switch to frighten children and candy to reward them for good behavior.
Wow.
In modern visits, the switch is used only for noise and to warn children they still have time to be good before Christmas. Then all the children get candy if they're polite about it. The name Belsnickel is a portmanteau of the German Belsen, meaning to wallop, and nickel for Saint Nick.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do they talk about that one? I would like to get into that one. Let me see if they got that one. Okay, no, they don't. But to end that story of Belsnickel, Knecht Ruperk and Ruklaus are similar characters from German lore who dole out beatings to bad children, leaving St. Nicholas to reward the good children with gifts. Now, I mentioned Black Peter. That's Knecht Ruperk. See, I'm killing it.
Ruperk.
I'm killing it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm killing it.
I'm terrible with German too, but is that one of those?
Don't spit on my screen.
No, you know what I'm saying though, right?
Yeah.
Like
No, it's more phlegm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's again, I'm not disparaging, but it's just
it is.
The pronunciations are very.
All the Germanic languages are like that, and it's just not a Latin-based language. So there you go.
I see.
But yeah, that's another anti-Santa kind of thing. Well, that's not really, because that's duality in one being though, because he's
either good or bad.
Well,
depending on
he
you.
punishes he punishes the naughty and rewards the good, the nice.
So you better be good for goodness sake.
You get a
Just
switch.
Yeah. I'll either beat you or give you candy. What's it going to be? Pick a hand. Pick a hand.
I got free candy in this hand, little child.
2 hands behind my back. Pick one.
You got a 50-50 chance.
This could go really well or really poorly.
Here's a can of dog food. Okay, so Hans Trapp, another anti-Santa who hounds out punishment to bad children in the Alsace or Lorraine regions of France. The legend says that Trapp was a real man, a rich, greedy, and evil man who worshipped Satan and was excommunicated from the Catholic Church. He was exiled into the forest where he preyed upon children, disguised as a scarecrow with straw jutting out from his clothes. He was about to eat one boy he captured when he was struck by lightning and killed. A punishment from his own from God. Still, he visits young children before Christmas dressed as a scarecrow to scare them into good behavior. Well, maybe that's where the elf on the shelf actually came from.
Where was that one from?
France.
France.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Alsace and Lorraine, the region, those regions of France.
Okay.
Wow, gotta love these names.
Wow.
There's another French legend.
It's not elf on a shelf. It's French on a bench.
Oh no.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here all night.
No.
Thank you.
Or maybe German on a merman? No. Anyhow. Yeah. The French legend of Pierre Furtard, whose name translates to Father Whipper, begins with an evil butcher who carved children to eat. He, or his wife, lured 3 boys into his butcher shop where he killed, chopped, and salted them.
Oh, jeez.
St. Nicholas came to the rescue, resurrected the boys, and took custody of the butcher. The captive butcher became Pierre Furtard, St. Nicholas's servant, whose job it is to dispense punishment to bad children on St. Nicholas Day, which is tomorrow. So there you go.
Wow.
A lot of those.
That's sucking all the love right out of the Christmas spirit, isn't
Well,
it?
this is the Paranormal Portal. It's amazing to read these though, because, like I said, it's Monarch Mead.
Monarch Mead. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's what it was.
So, Yeah, that's where the butterfly you were thinking of, monarch butterfly.
There it is.
That's why.
Yep.
But she was referring to the Monarch Mountains. Anyhow,
There you go.
I
There,
digress.
see, I knew I was right though.
The
wasn't I?
area, yeah, you were talking about the area.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but it's really interesting to see these different beliefs pop up and coming back, and some of them may never have gone away. We just,
They
we
just
were
seem to be more
censored.
regional.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe our internets have gained us a more worldly view of things.
Well, and that's something else. I posted something about are we a species with amnesia, and I think it was a Gaia story, but it was about how the Tower of Babylon built so
Sure.
high reached God,
Yep.
and then God came down and struck, and then divided us into the 13 different languages and things like that. And actually, it was Ken who commented on there, that we and I believe the same thing. I've thought the same thing for a long time, but we're coming into another common language, which is the internet. I mean, you can translate page to almost anything now. Google Translate. Oh, here, you want it in German? No problem.
Right.
So I mean, it's like we're coming to another circle. We're circling back around to historical what we believe are historical times.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wonder if the common language wasn't spoken at all. It was just when we could communicate here, but
or here,
well, you know what I'm saying. It's
Well,
like
yeah.
telepathy,
sure.
rather than verbally, and
Right.
so somehow we got whacked out of that deal, and we gotta, we gotta breathe all the time and make grunts and stuff, right? So that's the, maybe that's the
Oh my God.
manifestation of the punishment of
Why is my
Babel.
chat going so fast? Look at this. Look at my chat going so fast. Look at yours.
It must have been buffered.
Holy good God.
It's been buffered, maybe.
Oh wow, I can't even keep up with it. So
Don.
oh yeah. Hi Black Tree. She's hiding. She's our local friend.
Oh, nice,
That's
nice.
Julia.
Julia,
Yep.
yeah. It took me a long time to figure out who that was. I thought we had a new listener, but it's always wonderful,
Absolutely. That's interesting. Randall Electric, he says in the chat, we start using pictures and emojis like hieroglyphs.
Oh, very
So-
cool. That's a great correlation.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love the when we share ideas and stuff, because then they keep evolving, and with our many minds coming together, I think come up with a lot of truth.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's somewhere in there. There's got to be some kind of truth that's these stories or these ideas have been based on. It just has to be. There has to be some truth to it, or else why even bother?
True.
And I hope she said that to us. But Black Tree says, "Hi, I love you. I'll make fudge for you."
Woo!
Woo! Kind of like that
I
sponge cake you made me a couple weeks ago.
I didn't get any sponge cake at all.
You didn't want any.
There was-
I told her, she asked me the next day, she goes, "How was that sponge cake?" I said it was a little chewy. So she sent me back a picture of like baby Chewy, baby Chewy gift. I was like, oh my. But yeah, but I mean, it's just another.
I do like
interesting
fudge,
correlation.
however, for the record.
Oh, okay.
So I hope I'm on the distribution list this time. That's all I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there. And to any of you guys that like to bake, if you need my address and want to send me your baked goods, I'll be happy to put them away.
Get in my belly.
Got it in my belly.
So, but I mean, like I said, there's got to be some kernel of truth to any belief, not just Christmas monsters, not just Saint Nick. There's got to be truths to what's come before. The Tower
Right.
of Babel. Sure, Babel, whatever you want to call it. It's not Babylon either. Anyhow.
Well, Babylon was.
Well, Babylon was something totally different.
in Iraq. Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, even that, they're coming back around. They're saying they may have found the gardens of Babylon.
Oh, cool.
So, but anyhow, so yeah, I mean, it's I'm the history guy. You know that.
Yeah,
I'm the guy who
absolutely.
likes to dive into the history. And this is the stuff that really, this is exciting stuff to me. It's really knowledge expanding. Why, you think about why they would do that. You would think about, why the imagery, just all of those things, and wouldn't it be a weird twist if it was actually Saint Nick that was
Was what?
was the anti-hero,
Oh.
and the Krampus were actually,
Krampus were actually good.
yeah, exactly. Wouldn't that be just a kick in the pants?
Well, it just depends on who does their PR.
That's true. That's true. He's a red jolly guy in a red suit.
Right. He just has better PR, that's all.
Yeah, exactly.
Better marketers.
It's all about the market.
Don't trust that Krampus guy. He likes to eat kids.
And besides, he's got
Meanwhile, our big fat guy over here is really fun at parties. All right, I'm just going to read a few portal
Sure, go ahead.
pieces here because we got a lot of time left. But thank you, though. That was great. I do appreciate you bringing that in and putting that on the table and expanding the knowledge of the portal because, I think there's a lot of merit in the histories and stuff, and there's a lot of truths and there's a lot of wisdoms in them. I mean, some of them are real obvious, like, don't be bad. And,
Right.
Nothing evil's going to come attack you. Well, that's usually the case. I mean, seriously. I mean, if you don't project darkness, you're probably not going to have a problem with darkness coming after you. But if you have a darkness in you, then if you become attacked by a darkness, it's much more urgent that you get rid of it. So, you know what I mean? Like in the cases of possessions and oppressions and such. So, always try to live good. I guess when I was born, I got this gift. A gift that I couldn't even face until I was about 10 years old. The reason why I couldn't face my problem was that some were good and some were very bad. And I was small and I had no one to talk to. Even if I did, no one would understand me. It's truly is a small world for some of us, and I'm 32 now, and I learned that if you don't pay attention to certain things, they won't pay attention to you. I didn't mean for that to sound so Italian. They won't pay attention to you. Have some pizza. Sorry. It sometimes sucks when you're at a funeral and you happen to know the person. My personal opinion on the matter is I can see not one but 3 dimensions, and most people can only see one. I don't think that's true. I think we all see 3, but anyway. Because, there's length, there's width, and there's depth.
And then there's mass, like my belly.
Massive. My everyday living is a story. I wake up and see people. Some can be seen and others you can't. And they always mumble. Sometimes I can't see them, but I hear them. I also see figures from out of this world, demons with horns, although they never show their actual face to me, but I can smell them and feel that they have bad intentions. I'm a good Christian. I guess that's why they don't bother me much, and it's funny. The older I get, the more I see and feel. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I suppose. If you have those abilities and you don't have and you haven't made connections with other people that may have those abilities, or at least have an understanding of those abilities, the world would seem very small and very alone.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that I think they really got right in the movie The Sixth Sense. And they got a lot of things right. That was a really well done movie. That was about the only M. Night Shyamalan.
You almost went there?
Shyamalan. What is his name? Shyamalan? Something like that.
Shyamalan, yes.
M. Night Shyamalan. That's the one movie that I really, really liked that he did. I think he did a marvelous job with that. But it just kept going. It was like blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that was my Tourette's of the tongue. But the idea, as the movie starts, of course, the Bruce Willis guy is trying to help that Marky Mark deal with his issues. And I think that was Marky Mark Wahlberg, wasn't it? The one that went crazy and actually ended up killing him, shooting him. But you look at the movie starting, and here's this guy that has these issues, and he goes to his parents, bring him to a traditional psychologist. And of course, a traditional psychologist believes that it's all in the mind and it's the brain and it's maybe a chemical, maybe it's a physical issue with the brain, but something's wrong and this person is not normal. So works excessively to try to convince them that it's their vision is skewed, their perception is skewed, and they have to shape it back into this normality. And of course, the guy snaps and ends up shooting the Bruce Willis guy, and et cetera, et cetera. If you haven't seen the movie, I would recommend it. But it was that idea that, how many asylums, and we've talked about this, how many asylums have people in that are just truly gifted, and nobody can acknowledge it and medicate and put them away on a shelf, in a safe place, a quote unquote safe place, whereas they're sitting in torment in a drugged out state so that they can't even really defend themselves, even mentally, because they're in an altered state all the time.
Right.
So horrible. It would be just a deep well of madness that just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper and until somebody does actually just shatter. We can only take so much, but I think that's one of the good things lately is that the dialogue is more acceptable for these things now.
Right.
People can talk. People can go, I can see these things. And it's like, oh, really? Cool. Tell me about it. I want to hear about it. And there's more people willing to engage and at least be a support for that person as they come to terms with what it is that they do or can do. And there are other people that also have those abilities that can teach them how to tune that in, tune that out, how to shape it so that they have a measure of control. And so that's the encouraging part. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This was from, it was actually from Iran, this country, where this person submitted this was from Iran. So I don't know in a situation like that what kind of issues the person would have just coming forward with something like that, because it might be a much more different scenario than it is in our Western society. But I don't know. I don't have any knowledge of that. But
hey, you know what? That's a great segue into talking about our friend Deb Varner.
Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Deb is, of course, our regular contributor to the show. She comes on and does free readings. And with the holidays approaching, I just want to put it out there that you can go to Deb's site on Facebook or get a hold of her via email. And if you don't want a reading yourself, but you want to know a gift to get someone else, she does have coupons available where you can purchase a reading for somebody else and then send them the coupon. And it's an excellent thing. We're really supportive of her doing this because she is an extraordinarily gifted person and has given so freely of her gifts here on the show. But this is an opportunity for her to spread, knowledge and her ability to more people. So if you have someone that's really hard to shop for but has an open mind, get them a reading, because there's two things. I assure you that from my deepest conviction of my heart, she is the real deal. I mean, she's really a real deal. And secondly, that you will not find anybody that does readings for any less expensive, and you're getting a top of the line reading and at a price that really anybody can afford. It's going to be a lot cheaper than buying them,
The psychologist.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's just like one of those gifts that could really truly be life changing for somebody to have some insight or some psychic insight into what may be going on in their world.
Exactly.
So please check it out. It's purplemysticreader@gmail.com is her email address. But if you want to check out her Facebook group, it's Purple Mystic Readings by Deb, and that's on Facebook. So those are two options to get in touch with her, and definitely support what she's doing. She's an amazing woman, and this is an opportunity to spread that gift and to help someone you love. So definitely check it out. Definitely. We actually have an extraordinarily high number of very talented and gifted people that are, involved with the portal, and for that we're all very grateful. Our friend Sean, of course, has been amazing. Dee has been great. Even guys like Dan Pruitt and Lisa Martin, who has been a guest on here, have extended themselves as contact points for somebody dealing with the haunting if they want some investigative services. They both are very plugged into the national chain of investigators and can help you get in touch with people that can help you if you have a bad haunting or some issue going on.
Right.
So, again, I'm just very, very blessed and feel very blessed with the inclusion of all these people and all of you all out there too. I mean, you guys are amazing. So, but definitely check out Deb and check out her options for a great gift giving idea.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So, I thought I already read that last night.
I don't know. Unfortunately, I didn't pay attention last night. I was so busy at work.
Yeah,
Stupid
well,
busy.
You and your
You're
working.
your working thing. You got to get over that, Dawn. Oh, trust me, I'm so over it.
I live in California with my brother. I've been living with him for 2 years and only recently have been experiencing paranormal activity. A few months ago, I was sitting here at the desk and all of a sudden, the light fixture on the ceiling exploded. Wow. I was lucky to have been some feet away from it, so it didn't receive any injuries. My brother called the people that installed the fixture, and they said that there was absolutely nothing wrong with the wiring and nothing wrong with the wattage of the bulb they had put in. Okay, so case closed. A couple of weeks ago, I was in the kitchen, and the light hanging over the dining room table began to swing back and forth. I immediately thought that we were having a little earthquake, but nothing else in the house moved or shook, and I couldn't feel anything, so I just shrugged and walked back upstairs. I told my brother, and he was being interested in the supernatural, thought that we should break out our Ouija board. Hey, great idea. This is the beginning of a bunch of bad choices. We've had someone for years. We've had the same one for years. We got it from our great-grandmother. Wow. We sat there for 40 minutes and waited for something to pop up. Nothing did, and my brother came to the conclusion that I was seeing things. Just the other day, I came out of my room at 2 a.m. to get something to drink, and the door of the fridge was open, and there was milk all over the floor. My brother wasn't even home and didn't come home until 10 a.m. that morning. I have 3 dogs, and one of them has barked at random things on the wall and the staircase. Then they say, "Do you think there's some sort of spirit in the house?"
I don't know, Sherlock.
I don't know. I honestly, it's hard to know how this person sees the world, but I would say that if these activities are exactly as they describe them, then I'm going to say odds are, yeah, they got something there. Don, do you have an opinion on that one?
It's one of those things, yeah, obviously there's something going on.
Seems to be.
I mean, there's obviously, but light bulbs exploding, those are a little harder to, especially if you got an electrician that came out and said, no, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not overpowered. And, the bulbs were fine. Bulbs are bulbs,
Right.
But exploding light fixtures, that's kind of difficult.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't, and you don't know if they mean just the bulb exploded or
did the whole
fixture just kind of
thing
blow.
Yeah, that'd be scary.
Right. That would be a whole different kind of weird.
I'd be moving out of the house just because of that, because I don't want it burned down around my ears while I'm asleep.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, things are possible. I keep my mind open.
Well, good call. Good call. All right. Back in 1987, my sister and her hubby used to live in an apartment, and her husband's mother lived upstairs. And this was in a house, but both apartments were separate from each other, so it was a duplex, okay? One day, when my sister was home alone, she went down to the basement during the day to do some laundry, and she heard a little boy crying in the dark. My sister was nervous at turning on the light, so she asked him, "Little boy, why are you crying?" He responded, "Because I don't like the dark." She told him she would get a nightlight for him, and when she returned and plugged in the nightlight into the outlet, he must have vanished, and she could no longer hear him. My sister found out later that years ago, a family lived there once, and their little boy died of a disease in a hospital not very far away. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like the classic ghost tale. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just too classic for me.
It's kind of a cookie cutter kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
But I hate to,
Yeah, because it did that. It may have happened.
right? Exactly. It's one of
there's
those things.
there's always that.
It could be.
It could be true.
It could be, but it sounds like a million other similar kind of
Right.
stories that are out there. But I don't know. It's extraordinarily sad if a little boy is actually trapped
Yeah.
in that state, and having to deal with that. I don't know again how that can be possible, but that's my paradigm that I wrestle with, I guess.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I understand.
Yeah, it's just tragic.
Apparently, Gemini Moon's drinking her eye of life. Right on.
Speaking of that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to do a shout out for Eye of Life. It's an amazing health benefits of the CBD oils. There are so many really powerful results of using the Eye of Life and the CBD oils, and I don't know. I haven't tried any of the other ones, but I've heard that the other ones are absolutely disgusting.
They were all right.
Are they? I mean, have you?
I mean, I like the IS so much better.
Right. I mean, it's so well made. It's so smooth. You don't need to mix it in something in order to handle it. You just, I mean, you can just take a dropper and put it under your tongue, good to go. And there are so many implied health benefits, and there's so many amazing testimonials that are coming back on the product that are talking about people having these chronic conditions that are so much better.
That's true.
There was one person that wrote in talking about their chronic pain that they've suffered for years and couldn't get any relief, and the doctors couldn't help, and they were just at their wits' end, and then they ordered the Eye of Life. And this is, honest to God, a testimonial that was sent in. And they ordered the Eye of Life, and they were like, oh my God, I can live my life now. It was like that much of a difference for them. Whatever their issue was, I'm not sure if it was fibromyalgia or what, but the difference was night and day. And the approach that Chris and Sheree have had with it is that they it's not just CBD oil, but it has the spirit of the ayahuasca plant in it, but not the psychoactive part. So you're not going to take it and like go to hyperspace and travel into different dimensions. But it is the bee cappy that they infuse in there as well, and along with a nice tinge of a raspberry flavor. So it's just really amazingly well done, and the feedback that we're getting, and the bee cappy, by the way, is considered the healer of the plant universe in the where is it, Peru or somewhere, where
I believe so.
Where the ayahuasca traditions are so deep and part of the shamanic traditions there, but the bee cappy is the healer. That's the healer plant, and so people are responding so positively with it, and the price points are absolutely brilliant, and it's amazing stuff. Great stocking stuffer, great gift idea. And if you have someone that you're concerned about their health or their well-being,
try it out.
Try it out. I mean, it's really great stuff, and you can check it out at eyeoflife.com, ladies and gentlemen. So definitely do that. I personally have used it and do use it, and it's amazing stuff. It really is. It's just.
It helps me sleep.
Right.
When I remember
we
to
need to
take
get
it.
you on an IV drip.
I know.
Just plug it in and put you to bed.
So if I had an IV drip of coffee at the same time, would it amplify the coffee as well?
No. No, Don, that's not how it works.
I only drink 3 things. And yes, it is Peru.
Okay, yeah. And so, I mean, it's really a great product, honest to God. I believe in it myself, and I wouldn't certainly promote something I didn't believe in. Now, I also, am a part of that whole thing, but I wouldn't represent something that I didn't absolutely believe in. So check it out, eyeoflife.com. It's the stuff. It's the bee's knees.
The bee's knees. I love that saying.
I have no idea where that came from. It was
20s.
just suddenly in my head.
I see what you mean.
Right. I mean, I know when it came from.
If I was alive in the 20s, I'd just be rip-roaring, sitting on a flagpole, all that kind of stuff.
I'd be, pretty bummed there was no internet. Just saying. I like being alive now. I do, however, feel the nostalgia for the old times and stuff, and I don't know why. I wasn't alive in the 20s, but something about that time really resonates with me as well. And maybe it's because life just seems simpler.
Yeah.
Like it didn't seem this hard back then, but maybe, it was also the Depression, so maybe I'm
Well, that
really
was
rose-colored glasses here. I don't know.
Before the Depression.
Oh, was it? Okay, wow.
Before it was after
There's my-
World War. Yeah.
There's my iron grip of history, ladies and gentlemen.
It was World War One, the
Okay.
20s.
Okay,
The
gotcha.
rip-roaring 20s, the Depression, and then the only thing that pulled us out of the Depression was the capitalist warmongers.
The WW2?
Yes.
Well,
What else would you call it?
I don't know. I mean, the end of Nazism. I mean, wasn't that a big part of it? And
Yeah,
Pearl Harbor. I don't know.
Apparently, Hitler just died in the 90s.
Yeah, I know. There's all those legends out there, and I don't know. I guess anything's possible. If I can believe in big gorillas being out in our forests around here, and I can believe in beings unseen and UFOs, I guess I can believe Hitler might have been around too. I don't know. Anything's possible.
So apparently, I'm supposed to drink Red Bull and coffee
Oh God.
because Red Bull is a vasodilator. So the taurine in the Red Bull is the vasodilator. So it opens up your
And then
veins.
the coffee gets absorbed that much better.
Apparently so.
Well, I think Red Bull already has its fair share of caffeine, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. So let's double it up and make it
Yeah.
a red
Here's-
coffee.
Hey guys, here's Don stroking out.
Yeah, no doubt.
He'll just be over there twitching and drooling. No, I don't think that's probably sound advice.
No, probably not.
Does that person like you? I don't know.
Well, it was hacker, so I don't know.
Axer's dealing it deep. He's dealing it deep.
Well, he is the
Mixologist.
mixologist of the crew.
He is. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our own Paranormal Portal bartender. Mixologist. All right.
my.
Continuing on
Yes.
into our journey into the... Did you have anything else you wanted to read?
Oh, I might get to it later, but I'm enjoying your stories today. Right now.
Well, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
I'm 31 years old, but back when I was 16, I lived with my parents along with my two brothers, and I'm a triplet. Oh, wow. Okay. And two sisters in a New York City apartment in the area of Upper Manhattan. I was in my bedroom finishing up my homework, and there was one math equation I could not figure out. Since my sister Pamela is a wizard when it comes to math, I decided to just head over to her room, and her door was slightly opened, and I walked in. I saw a medium-built guy, about 6 feet tall, sleeping perfectly on her bed. As I moved closer, his eyes opened, and he gave me a blank stare. I freaked out and ran and noticed my sister was in the living room, and I told my sister what had happened. That boyfriend was trying to scare me. I don't have a boyfriend, and I didn't bring anyone home with me. I grabbed her hand and led her to the bedroom, only to see that he was gone. I know it was no intruders since the windows were locked at the time, but I was a bit disturbed by the fact that I had my own encounter with a ghost. But before this incident, I was skeptical about ghosts, but now I believe. I don't know. Why would it just be laying on her bed sleeping?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what is the, what?
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's one of those ones.
It is, but that to me is not. If that was a person that lived there and died from whatever reason, or in that area,
Right.
it's possible they would just want to be noticed. I don't know. It's tough. I don't know. That's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I can't quantify any of these as having any kind of validity at all, other than the fact that I can read you stories and if only a small percentage of them are true, that's still incredible.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind. But the Paranormal Portal is about entertaining you, as well as hopefully giving you meaningful knowledge and information about the paranormal.
And supporting you through your journey.
Well, yeah, I hope so. A little bit. I hope that we're a positive for your paranormal journey. So this one is, let's see what this one is. Ooh, it's a lengthy
there you go.
one. This one's got some teeth. All right. My older sister, Sam, rented a 2-bedroom apartment on the South Park Street. It's a Park House apartment in Madison, Wisconsin, during her junior year at UW-Madison. There was a beautiful corner window in the living room, but a huge pine tree blocked the window from the busy street. Whenever Sam called me, she would be in tears and tell me about the latest ghostly figure she had seen, and I would brush it off my shoulder and roll my eyes at this, and after months of Sam begging me to come and visit, I finally did. When she opened the front door, my eyes were automatically glued to the hallway, and all the little hair on the back of my neck stood up. Sam gave me a tour of her place, opening closets to show me how much space she had, and trying to convince me to move in with her. When she opened her bedroom walk-in closet, I felt goosebumps on my arm. I told her to close it right away, because I had the feeling that someone hung themselves in there.
Ooh.
Eesh. That summer, my parents dropped off my 2 little sisters to stay with Sam, and Sam's the irresponsible one in our family, and that weekend, she felt so stressed out that she decided to leave the 2 little sisters in the apartment in a new big city while she went to the clubs with some friends. Oh, jeez. My little sisters, what is it, Palm and him, okay, were excited to be left alone without adult supervision. At around midnight, him fell asleep on the futon while Palm watched TV until her eyes couldn't open anymore, and she laid next to him. A few minutes later, Palm was awoken by the sound of clunking of high heels on concrete coming towards the front door. She also heard voices of women talking and laughing, and then the sound of keys sliding through the keyhole. Palm was happy that Sam was back. She waited there in the dark. The front door never opened. Palm dashed to the corner window to look and see if Palm's car was back, but it wasn't. She saw something else. A dark figure was sitting next to the huge pine tree. Palm noticed the outline of the figure to be a little girl who had curly hair and a puffy dress. Palm screamed, waking up him, and the both of them held each other and cried. Not more than 5 minutes later, they heard voices and high heels on concrete. Then the front door opened with Sam and her friends walking through the door. The girls never went back to stay there. When I moved in with Sam, we both shared her room. I slept on the top bunks. Sam situated her computer in the corner desk so that when you sat down on the computer, your back would be facing the walk-in closet door and the bedroom door. And every time I'm on that computer, I have the tendency of turning around because I would feel like someone was looking at me from the door. All my friends thought I was going crazy because I was cooped in there with Sam, and they thought who they thought was a little lunatic. They came over to once. Ah, man, my eyes are just burning. They came over once. Where the hell am I now? I lost my spot.
Right there. They came over once.
They come over once to cheer me up, and we were sitting on the bottom bunk and talking and laughing, and we even put on the music. And one of my friends cranked up the music and started dancing. The rest of the girls joined. The music faded shortly. It's as though someone turned down the volume. This happened several times, and we got scared and ran out to the living room. And we all heard the door slam, and my friend, who ran out last, was screaming. She said she felt something pushing her out, and the door slammed on its own. Months went by, and Sam and I got used to living with the others. All our friends still came over to try to support and be with us so we won't freak out, and Sam saw the figures most. Sometimes when the figures saw her, they were scared as well. It got to the point where I would hear Sam talking to herself or cursing and screaming at the top of her lungs, and when I ran to see what was the matter, she'd tell me that she was yelling at the figures to go back to heck. It says heck. You can go to heck.
Back to heck with you.
You all need to go to heck. That just cracks me up. The two of us thought we were really losing it until my entire family moved in temporarily for 2 weeks until they could get into their new home. My older brother set up his computer in the living room each night after work. He'd stay on it until 2 or 3 in the morning on this computer, and one night I was watching Letterman while he was on his computer, and after about an hour I turned off the TV to head to my room. Several minutes later, he came in and asked if I turned off the TV, and I told him I did. We walked together to the living room, and the TV was turned on, but it wasn't on any channel. It was just fuzzy. He turned it off, and I head to bed, and each night after that, the TV would turn on by itself, and it would be all static. He checked the circuits and made sure nothing would trigger it to turn on, and even keeping the remote next to him. Still, it would turn on. After that started happening, the computer in our room would turn on by itself. Nights when I completely shut down the computer and unplugged the power cord, the computer would turn on even though the power cord was unplugged. And there was someone or something that was messing with us for its own amusement. My little niece, who was only 3 years old at the time, would run around our apartment, laughing and playing by herself, and I asked what she was doing. She'd tell me she's playing with her new friend. She was too young to be having an imaginary friend, and one morning I found her in the second bedroom, under the covers, and I heard her saying that she's going to tell her mom something if her friend wasn't going to behave. When I uncovered the comforter, I found my little niece sitting by herself, but she had scratches on her face, as if tiny little fingernails dug deep into her cheeks. Thanks, that's creepy. Mm-hmm. The last week, when my family was to move into their new home, my mom slept on Sam's bed in the bottom bunk, and while Sam was on her computer, my mom woke up, but just staring around the room, and she didn't stir in bed. She saw a person standing by the bedroom doorway and thought it was Sam. But when she looked closer, it was a little blonde-haired girl who was wearing a puffy Victorian dress with black buckled shoes and a big bow in her hair, standing there looking towards Sam. My mom said the little girl reminded her of Alice in Wonderland, but she had curly hair. The little girl turned around and disappeared in the hallway. That alone answered many questions we had about why we always felt eerie when we were on the computer, or why the computer and TV would turn on, and who was playing with my little niece. We're still trying to find out what happened there and who the girl was. And when I drive past that apartment complex, I still get goosebumps. So, yeah, I don't think that's a little girl at all.
Yeah, no. Did she mention, or did this person mention at the beginning of the story that there was a big tree outside, and that's where they first saw the little girl?
She mentioned the big tree in there, but then it was the younger siblings that actually saw the little girl out next to the tree, as I recall. That was a whole lot of story, Don.
It was a lot of story.
There's a lot of story, ladies and gentlemen, but that's the kind of love I bring to the portal every episode. Just saying.
There you go.
I think it's a cool story. I don't know. I mean, it sounds
good story. Yeah.
Sounds pretty plausible. I'm give it a probable.
He's gonna give it a semi thumb up.
I'm not even sure what the hell that means. What's a semi thumb up?
You know what? We're not going to talk about that. I'm sure that.
Is that a flaccid thumb? Sorry.
It is semi.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm circling the drain already.
Oh, goodness. So is Black Tree.
Oh, really? Nice. What am I missing in the chats there? What are they talking about, Don?
Oh, it's the Paranormal Food Network in there.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we're trading recipes again?
Well, they were. Now they're talking about Black Tree dropping the fudge.
Jeez. Oh, only here on the portal.
God, we love you.
All right. This happened to me last summer, and I was sitting at home alone because of all my friends were out of town. I was getting pretty bored, so I decided to ride my bike out to a nearby park. When I got there, I saw that no sports teams were having practices, and no one was out there doing anything. So I was alone, and again, I thought I would be neat to go to the river, which runs along the street opposite to the park. People aren't supposed to go down there, but kids do it all the time. So I climbed down the steep hill and sat on a rock, and I closed my eyes and tried to relax a little when I heard what sounded like someone who was drowning splashing around. Suddenly, I felt these really cold hands grab my ankles and drag me into the river. This river runs fast, and I freaked. I swallowed a mouthful of water, and everything went black. I forced my eyes open and found myself floating in the center of a circle of bodies. Their skin was all grayish blue and decaying, and I tried to scream, but I couldn't. I suddenly found myself sitting on the rock next to the river again, almost as if I dreamed the whole thing, and then I started to cough up water. I heard a disembodied voice come from out in the middle of the river telling me to leave. I wasn't about to argue, so I ran up the hill, across the street, and rode my bike home as fast as I could. Later, I found out that this river used to be level with the road, and countless cars fell into the river. At least a dozen deaths were recorded there, and I don't even want to think about the relevance my experience might have with the native culture here.
Yeah, no doubt.
Wow. Yeah, that would be horrible to have that kind of a nightmarish experience.
That would be creepy, yeah. To go swimming and wake up and get conked out and wake up and you got dead, decaying, bloated bodies.
Yeah, that's like right out of the movies, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. It's all on the board in the paranormal, ladies and gentlemen. It's all on the board. How's everything working? We're not having any more connection issues, right?
No, we seem to be just fine.
I don't know what that was about because the stream has always, on the OBS, it always has a green thing here.
Oh,
so
wait. Hacker, wait.
What?
He says he just found out. He thought we were in Canada, but we're in North Idaho. And he just said, and I'm going to read this on.
Okay.
I should mail them a couple bottles of my barreled cream.
Yes, you should. Email paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, and I will give you my address, brother. I do accept gifts.
See, Don does watch.
Good eye, Don. Good eye. I might even let you have a taste.
I might have to just come over and take some.
Really? No, that'd be cool. I mean, if you don't mind. It sounds delicious, brother.
I didn't know we could. Okay, never mind. I didn't know that was quite legal.
Yeah, you can mail liquor. I mean, it's just you gotta pat it real good.
Yeah, don't let that bottle break.
Yeah, don't let it break. I don't want to lick the wrapper or anything, so wrap it good.
Maybe chewing on the car.
Yeah, just email me and I'll give you my address. I swear I will. That would be brilliant. So, Brent Thomas, care of the Paranormal Portal.
General delivery.
Yeah. No, dude, that's got to be overnighted.
I can't wait.
No, I'm just kidding. But that's wonderful. Very cool. Yes, we are in the U.S. We are in the north of Idaho.
Yes.
The northern tip. We can almost throw a rock and hit Canada. But just saying. They might be in active war and we'd start an international incident. So.
I knew somebody who lived up in Medellin Falls, which is just south of the border.
Okay.
And they would go home occasionally, and they live like right on the border. And they said that they would find like duffel bags.
Oh, really?
Way to their yard.
Duffel bags?
Yeah, guess what the duffel bags were full of?
I don't know.
Smuggled pot.
Oh, seriously?
Oh yeah.
It was a pretty happy house then, huh? Special delivery. Speaking of Santa.
I'll just leave it right here.
Wow, so they lobbed it over. Yeah. Now the scary part is, did somebody come to pick it up?
Maybe.
I don't know. That's one of those you'd be almost scared to even touch it.
Oh.
It's like, do you gamble with that and go, hey, guess I got a good supply for a while, or do you go, hey, wait, who's coming to get this? And do I want to enter into that fray?
El Chapo.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Chapo.
You know, is it going to mean a pinky if you pick it up, you know?
Freddy Four Fingers.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things you might want to leave alone. I don't know. I mean, if it was a duffel bag of cash, I'd probably just go, I'd probably work with that. But if it's a duffel bag of drugs, I think I would go, no.
Oh, hacker, you keep going, buddy. So now I'm thinking of a good Christmas care package for the portal.
Woo! Excellent,
Rock on,
brother.
baby.
If it starts with your liquor, then it's already a good care package. It can only go up from here.
Pixie, don't be a party pooper.
Why?
She says you can't mill liquor, guys. Like, they don't gotta know. It's milk. It's barreled cream.
So, like, you never speed, Pixie? Come on.
Come on. Live a little. Just wrap them real good. I mean, that liquor's got to get here somehow. Unless you want to walk it over, actually.
It ain't gonna drink itself, according to Brent.
Well, I'm going to make sure it ain't going to drink itself.
Oh,
All right, so moving along. I love it. I love it.
Oh
Okay, so the flowering figure. Yeah, we are not promoting illegal activity here on the portal, just for our
absolutely
legal disclaimer. We are just having fun. Wink.
my. Nudge, nudge.
You're done.
Try this. We just got it in the mail.
Yeah. I made it.
I
I made it myself. All right.
got the herbs in the mail, man. That's not even better.
Oh my God. All right.
Oh, goodness.
This happened in 2006 in the summertime, and we were on a family vacation at Oak Island, North
Ooh.
Carolina.
Oh, I want to go.
I don't know if that's the same Oak Island, is it? Isn't that where the
Um,
treasure is Oak Island?
yeah.
But that's up in Nova Scotia.
oh,
isn't
it is. Yeah, yeah.
So this is a different one.
Yes.
And we were staying at the house owned by my aunt and uncle, and this house was the creepiest house that ever was. One day, my sisters and I were playing in the driveway, and the window of the room downstairs started to raise up really slowly, and you could see a dark figure standing there. We were so scared when we went into the room to see who was there, but to our surprise, the room was empty, and the house was closed, or the window was closed, rather. Thinking nothing of it, we kept on playing. About 45 minutes later, our mom called us in with an urgent tone, and we went in. She was scared to death, and we asked her what happened, and she said that she had the feeling someone was in the house with her. So she said, "If this is you, Robina, haunting this house, then give me a sign." And just as she had said that, a cool breeze had went over her, but she said, but she was in no reach of the fan. And later that night, when me and my sister got up from bed to go to the bathroom, I saw a big gold mirror over the couch. But I really didn't think about it then. And when I went back to bed, my sister turned over the other way, and I was laying on my back, and I kind of got scared. So I asked, "Are you asleep?" And since I got no response, I turned my head the other way, and what I saw made me almost cry. It was a tall, white figure with flowing hair and black eyes. I hit my sister and made her get up and look, and she saw it too. We both ran into the living room, screaming, and woke our mom, and she was a very light sleeper, but she didn't hear us screaming. And as I looked above the couch, there was no big gold mirror. We packed all of our stuff and left that house at 1 a.m. And when we got home, we told people about the ghost we saw there, and they had similar experiences. We also found out that our grandmother, who had lived in the room below, had owned a gold mirror, and it was the scariest thing there ever was. But we go back there every summer. Woo! Wow.
Huh.
I don't know. I guess you got to have a sense of adventure, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
You don't need Disney. Speaking of going somewhere, I would like to check out Zach Bagans' museum in Las Vegas. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I'd rather go find out. So who was the benefactor of Ed and Lorraine Warden's stuff? Was it their son or?
Well, their nephew is
Nephew.
John Zaffis, but she also has a son who's been. What do you mean? Is she's not passed?
No. You're right.
Right.
But isn't he like curating it now?
Yeah, their
Yeah.
son is. Yeah, but yeah, John Zaffis is their nephew, but I'm sure her son will probably continue the legacy. I'm sure.
That's where I want to go.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool too. I'm not sure what state are they in.
I don't.
That's the other question. It's like, well, where are they? I know I've heard before, but I've long since forgot because
Yeah, there's
it's
so
just
much
the way
in our heads.
the way my mind works. I remember stuff for a little while. But if you find it, let me know.
Yeah, I'll just take another half second here.
I'm sure they're over in like Pennsylvania or something like that. I believe they're in the South.
Parapsychology.
Just Google it and Lorraine Warren's.
New England, Amityville.
No, well,
Bridgeport, Connecticut. No, that's where Lorraine was born.
oh, okay.
Oh, they were both born. Oh, And Ed died in Monroe, Connecticut. So Connecticut, that area of Connecticut.
Okay, so it's Connecticut. All right.
Connecticut.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we ever get over in that neck of the woods, we'll have to stop by there and, head over to see Deb, and,
Oh, yeah.
she's over there, and
Definitely.
have to swing by Nolans and check out Lady, and
Well, and
we'll just do a tour. Where's Pixie?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. That's where Pennsylvania came from.
Yeah.
It's you, Pixie.
Anyhow. Yeah, well, I was going to say that. And then, of course, if we, on the way there, we got to go through Ohio. So we got to stop at the Surf Mound. We'll probably have to stop and pick Dee up, But, I'm all for that. Pixie was talking about when the aliens come get her to do a portal pickup. So,
Yeah, swing by and pick up Donna and and we'll go check out the stars. But I don't want any of that forgetting stuff. I want to remember it all. That's
or
my
needing
rules.
the cream afterwards.
What? Or what?
Needing the cream afterwards.
Needing the
The
cream?
soothing cream.
Oh, what? Oh,
Oh, God.
okay. All right.
Oh,
I don't know what. Yeah, sorry. That just hit me all sideways. I was like,
The
what?
Prep H.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm tracking now.
Hey, where's Lady Death tonight?
What do you mean she wasn't there?
Was she?
Yeah, she's been in
I
there.
haven't seen her.
I don't know. She might have had to take off for some reason, but
She may have finally fallen asleep.
oh, she's tired.
Well, she's one of our kind. We don't sleep.
we're more narcoleptic. So my next door.
My brother's narcoleptic.
Is he really?
Oh, I have stories.
Yeah, I'll bet. That's got to be absolutely scary. I've been narcoleptic for a period of time. I was only sleeping, a couple hours a night, and it was just.
That's just insomnia.
Well, no, I mean it was for a long period, and I got to the point where I would just start falling asleep anywhere. I'd be driving down the highway, and suddenly I'm like shocking myself awake, going, "Oh my God, I just fell asleep." It's just terrifying.
My brother drives.
Oh man. Well, does he have like a device that lets him know if he's like nodding?
No.
Oh.
Ask me how many times I've went riding with him. No.
Let's roll those dice.
No, that's sleep debt. Narcolepsy is it's actually a seizure when you fall asleep. It's
like
a seizure.
Okay.
And then, of course, if you've ever seen My Private Idaho,
No.
River Phoenix's character had cataplexy as well. It's a deeper issue into narcolepsy, and it's totally loss of muscle control, and it's like cutting the strings of a marionette. They just down they go.
Oh, wow.
My brother doesn't have that, fortunately enough, but
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So the judges for what? A fudge cook-off? Oh hell yeah! Brent and Don could be judges. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You always want fat guys judging stuff like that, and we got that covered.
Never trust a skinny chef.
This happened in the summer
Yes.
of 2006, and it was during the day. I'd say around 3:35 p.m. at least. That's pretty precise. I'm guessing the sun was out, and there was a lot of traffic and kids playing outside. And my little brother had a few friends over to play. My mom was busy talking to some of the neighbors, and my dad was helping out with the plumbers in the bathroom because we were getting it fixed up. And my older brother was out with his girlfriend for the day, and I'd say this was a Friday. I don't know why, but I have the feeling that it was. Everything seemed normal, and I was on my bed sorting out all my pictures that were under my bed, and my mom told me to clean them out. So my little brother came upstairs constantly to get some of the toys out of the toy box at the end of my bed, and I got slightly annoyed because my mom and I had a little fight that day, and it wasn't in the mood for anybody. My mom comes up to show one of the neighbors the new wardrobes that we had just got in, and I made an angry sort of face and continued to sort out my pile of pictures and photos. And again, my brother came up, and I quickly got really annoyed. He dropped a load of toys all over the floor, and I'm not picking them up, I yelled. Clean it up now, or I won't let you in my room again. As I gave out, I looked over my brother, and just outside my room on the landing floor stood a very attractive blonde-haired lady with a modern-day white top, like a cardigan, and a red dress just past her knees. I didn't say anything to her. I thought she was a friend of my mom's, so I wasn't scared. She, however, made an odd sort of face at me, and it was the kind of face to say, "Don't talk to him like that," or "You're a very mean sister." I made a face enough to say, well, whatever, back to her. Then I decided to help my brother because I didn't want to make a bad impression. And everything was clean, and now that's grand. Try not to keep coming up, I said. The lady was gone. Later I went downstairs. Why were all the neighbors in the house? I said to my mom. She was cleaning the counter, and I brought Alan, my brother's friend's mother, up to see the wardrobe, and I looked. Who was the other one then? I said, and I wasn't expecting the reply I got. There was no one else, she said. I didn't get scared, but I repeatedly kept saying that there was, and soon my mom was annoyed and said, You will end up scaring your brother. Stop that nonsense. Over the next few days, my mom spoke to me and told me, what? Over the next few days, my mom spoke to me and told me to tell her the story when my little brother wasn't around. Okay. She decided to get the house blessed again, but of course, she was only doing it to make me feel better, and every time I bring up the story, she laughs, and so does my older brother. My dad suggested with a little laugh, if it was a ghost, it was your brother's guardian angel. After all, she wasn't impressed with the mean comments you gave your poor little brother. I never saw her again, but I often get the feeling that I'm being watched, especially around David, my brother.
Huh.
Interesting.
I was just thinking cougar. As I stroke my beard.
Oh, Jesus.
You know,
Beard.
I was like, well, that's obviously not a demon. You know, it's
Right.
a tall blonde lady in a modern white top and a red skirt. You know, red skirt. What is it with the lady in the red dress or the?
What is it? What do you mean?
Well, that usually means like lady of the night. So you know, but why?
Oh, does it?
Well, you know, yeah.
I heard red light.
Red light districts.
Yeah,
you know,
but-
lady in red. Lady in red.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is.
Usually
about them.
attributed to.
I knew red light was, but I didn't know that red dress was considered a lady of the night either. I just figured it was a
It's just the idea.
well-dressed lady.
Oh, and then the Matrix, of course. You know, the lady in her dress.
But she was a absolute knockout.
Apparently, so was the guardian angel.
Well, that's true. I mean, I guess so. But it was a
Oh,
red skirt in that case. But
Well, that's all right.
anyway.
Wow. Loaded baked potato soup. Thank you, Diana.
Oh, we talking food?
Yeah, they're always talking food.
You
They're
guys.
trading fudge recipes, and so far, Hacker is winning.
Just want you to know this is a paranormal portal. We talk about ghosts and paranormal stuff, okay? Just saying.
Oh, MCAT shouted out that they're called micro sleeps.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's what I was. Yes.
Okay, now here's one that kind of hopefully plays into what you were talking about earlier.
Oh, okay.
And this has to do with Ireland. Ireland. Just 3 years ago, in 2004, which was, this was submitted in 2007. So, me and my family went on a 2-week holiday to the Holiday Centre in Cork. Anyone from Ireland will know Trollbogan, the Holiday Centre. And we arrived there with our little cottage lake house we had to stay in. Wasn't cleaned at all properly from the maids, and it looked like a house from the Dark Ages. There was me, my older brother, Paul, David, my little brother, and my parents, my cousin Jamie, and my aunt Catherine. The center was more for children than adults or teenagers, so it was between me and my brother to watch over our little brother, and his cousin. Drank Coca-Cola, so... The town had a show on each night for the kids, and we would all go around. The adults would usually have a drink for themselves while a children's show was on. However, David and Jamie got tired one night, so my mom made a suggestion. Paul has the kids long enough. It's your turn to watch them. So Paul went off into town to go to a dance or hall or something and bring the kids back to the house and put on a film or draw. And so I did. The cottage was stuck onto houses, and from the back entrance there was There was only one little tiny gap to get in or out of the large circular green. As we took the back entrance, there wasn't a soul in sight. No kids, no nothing. Most of the house lights were off, and you could hear the crickets. I opened the back siding door, and went in with Dave and Jamie, and we were there for about 5 minutes when I heard a knock on the back door. The door was made of glass, and the curtains were shut, and I was expecting to see my mom at the door, but when I opened it, nobody was there. Or was there. Just saying. That's how you let them in. I looked out and around the side, but it was pitch black and real quiet. You could see the forest over some of the houses, and it was actually spooky, and I suggested it to be kids playing, and I went in and closed the door behind me, but just as I walked away, I leapt out of my shoes because the bang on the window was as if someone had given it a bang hard enough to try to break the glass. Ghosts weren't on my mind, and I was so scared I thought it was a murderer. I took Dave and Jamie into the bathroom, and I wanted to run and go back down to the show where my mom was, but I was scared. David then got scared because he saw the look on my face, and I then got up to my courage and went right out the back door. To my surprise, it was completely quiet and bare. No lights on, no one in sight, not even down the road where we were walking. Not even the road we were walking. It's just really worded wrong. I told my mom, and she said, well, don't worry, we're all going back anyway, and it was probably just kids. A few days later, everything that could go wrong went wrong. It was as if the house was cursed, and there was no banging or ghost apparitions. It was just plain bad luck. Something that my family never do is leave a holiday early. We packed our bags and headed off as quick as we could. The morning we left, tiny insects formed all over the skirtings of the windows. I actually got that on camera. If you have any queries, leave me a message. And then they give their email address. I don't know. I suppose, some dark things can bring with them an energy of course, which would be experienced much like bad luck. Like everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Mm-hmm. And it just seems to be an aura that they can emanate. So it's kind of weird, spooky stuff, really. Now, did you have something that you were going to read?
I was trying to find something, but for some reason I can't find it.
Oh, okay.
But I will continue looking. I'm sorry I got caught up in the whole parafood thing.
Oh, sure. Sorry. No, that's fine. I'm just joking, of course. I'm really thrilled that our listeners have a community. Yeah. I mean, it feels really cool that everybody's excited to come in and talk with their friends, and even though it happens to be at the same time we're doing the show, I understand that it's just a bunch of friends coming together. So, and I'm honored that we can be at the center of that. So, I just say things in jest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really not offended, but anyway. So that kind of plays into the holiday as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, this one sounds kind of wild. This happened when I was about 6 years old, and my brother Dave wasn't even born. I lived in a flat, and me and my family all slept in the same room. This is coming out of Ireland as well. I slept on the bottom bunk bed, and my brother Paul on the top, and my mom and dad were over on the double bed, and the window was facing my bed. About 5 a.m, I awoke, and the room was black, and all I could hear was rain on the window. Outside the window, there was no entrance, so there was no way any person could have gotten in from the back, and I couldn't sleep, so I looked around and I glanced over at the window just for a second. I couldn't take in what I saw, but my heart leapt quickly. Right there, just looking in the window, was the face of a man. I couldn't tell his features, but he looked really angry, and his mouth was open, and his eyes were huge. They seemed to stare at me, and I was staring at him. I didn't scream because I actually couldn't. I pulled the covers over my head. There you go, Don. Mm-hmm. Covers.
Gotta get 'em.
And peeped out. Oh, I peeked out, I guess. He was still there. I looked over at my mom and dad, and they were fast asleep. I decided not to look at him again. Good call. Good call. And I just pulled the covers over me, closed my eyes tight, and stayed there. The next morning, I told my mom, and she laughed and said, "Okay, I'll get curtains." That's the thing. It's too bad because, and I don't think it's bad parenting, when parents are just, dismissive of these things. But I just think that, if kids experience stuff, you got to listen. And as ridiculous as it may seem, it's real to them, And so I don't think you do them any favors by just laughing it off and making it stupid. I think it's important to engage them and help them to, talk through it because, right. This is how many years later this person is writing this story.
Wow. And
they're still dealing on some level with the trauma of that experience.
Well, that's kind of like what we were talking about earlier with the Krampus and the ruling by fear or the instilling the fear of, Krampus or whatever that is, But in this case, it's not so much instilling it, but letting it not work itself out or helping them work it out so they can understand what happened and be done with it and move on with life. So it works the same kind of way. It's just neglect.
And Haxer, I don't know if there will be or not. I hope so. I hope we can.
Portal potluck?
No, he said a portal tour.
Oh, portal tour. Yeah.
A portal tour would be something that would be amazing, and we would love the opportunity to get out and meet you guys and do shows all around the place. I would love to do that. There's a lot of things that are kind of nebulous at this point about us being able to pull something like that together. But is it possible? Hell yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
If we can figure out a way to do it, we're going to do it for sure.
I don't know if I want to go to Georgia. It's too hot down there.
Well, the devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal, Don.
Oh, God.
He was in a bind because he was way behind, but he was willing to make a deal.
Talk about the Paranormal Portal.
I'm just saying, that's what the song says. So it's something that we would definitely love to do. I would love nothing more than to get together in some place where we could all come together.
Gemini Moon, as a matter of fact, Gemini Moon says do a show at the Serpent Mountains in Ohio.
Exactly. Those are the kind of things I would love for us to do, or at least do shows as we go, but maybe have footage of us going through the Serpent Mounds and stuff, and then maybe I don't know how you would broadcast live from there, and deal with the bandwidth and all of that, but it would be possible to film segments, meet you guys, have you guys on the shows with us as we toured around.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be epic, and it's something that, again, it's just in the most infantile of planning stages. There's about 1 million contingencies that would need to fall in place for it to happen, but it's someplace that we would like to go.
It'd be funny. And our next stop is Pennsylvania to Mr. and Mrs. Pixie's house. And Pixie's having a conniption. She's like, "No, you're not coming over here. I'll call in maybe." That's a very solid, well, not really, never mind. Oh, God love you, Pix.
Absolutely.
I wonder if we ever did actually get over there and tell him Pixie, hey, we're coming over and blah blah blah, and we're gonna do this, that, and the other, and be at a show or something, or a alien con or something, whatever. And then all of a sudden we meet this lady, but we don't know it's Pixie.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what any of you guys look like except for a very few of you. So you could pass me on the street and I wouldn't know who you were. But if you recognize me, please say hello. I don't know. I'd like to meet everybody. Hell, I live in the same town as Julia, and I've never even seen this girl.
Oh, gosh, yeah. It scared her when I know who you are, Julia. She goes, "How do you know that?" I said, "Well, you used to work here. You used to work there." And she goes, "Oh, my."
Wow. Creepy.
I know who you are.
Don's actually psychic.
Well, I don't know about that. But.
Oh, but no, I would love nothing more than to get together with all of you guys, and it would be cool if we could all get together somewhere together.
Yeah,
like some centrally located place, and it's close enough for everybody to make the journey, and which isn't really close at all because every place is big, and Ken, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to get on a boat. 'Cause I would love to come to Australia too. Don't get me wrong, but that's a hell of a journey.
Yeah, no doubt.
But no, it's just these are things that we would love to do, and there would be nothing that would make us more happy than to get out and shake you guys' hands, hang out with you guys in person, tell stories, do a show with you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, I think that would be fun that wherever we were traveling to have that person
Yeah,
that's
you
in
guys
that
can
area
bring
come
your
on.
stories with you, and
Yeah, you have to,
That'd
but
be
you
awesome.
have to do homework before then. You have to get all your local stories and bring them in, so we got a whole show.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. You can be you can be the host.
No, no, they can't be the host. But they can be on the show.
Oh, fine. You can be. A
I'm
special
not
guest.
giving up the role. This is mine. I've earned this.
I'll give up a roll or two.
You can have Don's chair.
No, I didn't mean that roll. I meant a fat roll. Gosh.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So, no, there's a lot of things that we're looking at with the portal, and ladies and gentlemen, is growing. You know, in some ways really quickly, in some ways really slowly. But I think it's, you know, it's a growth that's strong. I love the way that we've grown because we've grown with you guys. You guys have grown with us. You know, and in every sense of the word, we've become a family, and that's so important and it's so powerful. But I mean, that's one of the reasons I started doing the bedtime stories every night, because it was like, you know, waiting for all those days was just like, in those in between days, I was kind of like, okay,
So hard.
wonder what's on TV. You know, I just felt like I was missing this connection and this opportunity, and you know, this chance to just connect with you guys. So every show has been just amazing.
Yeah. Well, we're at 116 minutes.
What do you got? You got a date?
Actually, I do.
You got a date?
No,
You got to go?
I do have a date with my pillow.
Ooh.
Yes.
Well, I guess you got to go.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's about
It's
9 o'clock. So
yeah?
it's about time, ladies and gentlemen. So.
8:59 p.m. I'm sorry, I got to pull the plug.
Done.
I'm a party pooper.
But we do love you all, and thank you so much for being a part of our family and being welcoming us into your world, because you know, you guys make this magical. So I hope you guys have liked the new layout. Again, thank you, Mr. Geo. You made us look sexy, and I appreciate that, which is not easy for me at all. So not appreciating, but looking sexy is what I'm saying. But hope you guys are great. Be good, be kind, be nice to each other. Take care of each other. And I'll be back tomorrow night for the bedtime stories. Now, this Friday, we got some epic shows coming up. On Friday night, we'll have The Exorcist, Mr. Jeffrey Seelman, on the portal here. And it'll be an epic opportunity to talk to a person with a lot of firsthand knowledge of dealing with some of the dark and uglies, and hear what he has to say. So he'll be on Friday night. And then on Saturday night, what do I got going on Saturday night? Chris Everard, Mr. Christopher Everard will be joining us. Mr. Enigma TV himself will be joining us on Saturday night, and we'll be talking about ancient technologies. And that's going to be an amazing journey as well. So 2 really fantastic shows coming up in Friday, Saturday night here. Always the portal starts at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So whatever that means to where you are, but definitely tune in every chance you get, and definitely spread the word. Let people know about the portal. You know, we want to continue to grow and develop, because as more people are coming in, ladies and gentlemen, it's creating more opportunity for us to do those things, like get around to see you guys. So, but we need the followers. We need the people becoming part of the community. So,
Join us.
Join us. We have cake.
Everything floats in here.
All right, guys. So take care. Be good. Be kind.
Love you.
and
Bye-bye.
We will see you. I'll see you tomorrow night. And Don, you'll be back on Saturday, right?
Of course I will.
Okay. So we'll see Don again on Saturday. So until then,
Good Nacht.
sweet dreams. Guten Nacht.